Welcome back to Breathtaking and this week's final podcast celebrating the extraordinary lyrics of Noel Coward. Like Sunday's episode, this one focuses on Mr. Coward's humorous songs, but there's a bit of a stream of consciousness in today's three musical selections. The first two songs concern themselves with the performing arts, but from very different perspectives. First, performed in 1935 by Noel Coward himself, here is Mrs. Worthington.
Don't put your daughter on the stage, Mrs. Worthington. Don't put your daughter on the stage. The profession is overcrowded and the struggle's pretty tough. And admitting the fact she's burning to act, that isn't quite enough. She has nice hands to give the wretched girl her due, but don't you think her bust is too developed for her age? I repeat, Mrs. Worthington, sweet Mrs. Worthington, don't put your daughter on the stage. Regarding yours, dear Mrs. Worthington, of Wednesday the 23rd, although your baby may be keen on a stage career, how can I make it clear this is not a good idea for her to hope, dear Mrs. Worthington, is on the face of it absurd. Her personality is not in reality exciting enough, inviting enough for this particular sphere. Don't put your daughter on the stage, Mrs. Worthington. Don't put your daughter on the stage. She's a bit of an ugly duckling, you must honestly confess, and the width of her seat would surely defeat her chances of success. It's a loud voice, and though it's not exactly flat, she'll need a little more than that to earn a living wage. On my knees, Mrs. Worthington, please, Mrs. Worthington, don't put your daughter on the stage. Don't put your daughter on the stage, Mrs. Worthington, don't put your daughter on the stage. Though they said at the School of Acting she was lovely as Peer Gynt, I'm afraid on the whole an ingenue role would emphasize her squint. She's a big girl, and though her teeth are fairly good, she's not the type I ever would be eager to engage. No more buts, Mrs. Worthington, nuts, Mrs. Worthington, don't put your daughter on the stage.
And now, in contrast to Mrs. Worthington, a stage mother whose tenacity rivals that of Mama Rose, a woman whose only goal in life is to secure her daughter's entrance into the performing arts, we now meet Nina, a young woman who categorically refuses to dance. Noel Coward wrote Nina in 1944, but one of the most amusing parts of the song is its short bridge referencing the melody and words to legendary composer-lyricist Cole Porter's 1935 hit song, Begin the Begin. The Begin, by the way, is a kind of dance similar to a slow rumba. Anyway, what makes that bridge particularly hilarious is on its second appearance, where Noel Coward cleverly rhymes implored her to and taught her to with, well, I'll let you hear it for yourself. Here is Noel Coward performing Nina.
And I should like to sing you a song about a singularly disagreeable lady from South America who failed to emulate the admirable example set by all her compatriots, and throughout her long and tawdry life resolutely refused to dance. Her name was Nina. Senorita Nina from Argentina knew all the answers. Although her relatives and friends were perfect dancers, she swore she'd never dance a step until she died. She said, I've seen too many movies, and all they prove is too idiotic. They all insist that South America's exotic, whereas it couldn't be more boring if it tried. She added firmly that she hated the sound of soft guitars beside a still lagoon. She also positively stated that she could not abide a southern moon. She said with most refreshing candor that she thought Carmen Miranda was subversive propaganda and should rapidly be shot, and that she didn't care a jot if people quoted her or not. She refused to begin the begin when they requested it, and she made an embarrassing scene if anyone suggested it, for she detested it. Though no one ever could be keener than little Nina on quite a number of very eligible men who did the rumba. When they proposed to her, she simply left them flat. She said that love should be impulsive, but not convulsive, and syncopation had a discouraging effect on procreation, and that she'd rather read a book, and that was that. Senorita Nina from Argentina despised the tango, although she never was a girl to let a man go. She wouldn't sacrifice her principles for sex. She looked with scorn on the gyrations of her relations who did the conga, and said that if she had to stand it any longer, she'd lose all dignity and wring their silly necks. She said that frankly she was blinded to all their over-advertised romantic charms. And then she got more bloody-minded and told them where to put their tropic palms. She said, I hate to be pedantic, but it drives me nearly frantic when I see that unromantic, sycophantic lot of sluts forever wriggling their guts. It drives me absolutely nuts. She declined to begin the begin, though they besought her to, and in language profane and obscene she cursed the man who taught her to. She cursed Cole Porter too. From this it's fairly clear that Nina, in her demeanor, was so offensive that when the hatred of her friends grew too intensive, she thought she'd better beat it while she had the chance. After some trial and tribulation, she reached the station and met a sailor who had acquired a wooden leg in Venezuela, and so she married him because he couldn't dance. The surely never could have been a more irritating girl than Nina. They never speak in Argentina of this degenerate bambina who had the luck to find romance, but resolutely wouldn't dance. She wouldn't dance. Hola!
In case you missed it, Noel Coward rhymed implored her to and taught her to with Cole Porter to. Okay, now that we've gotten from point A, Mrs. Worthington, to point B, Nina, because of the performing arts, our musical stream of consciousness will now take another turn altogether. Point B, that is Nina, is linked to point C because both songs reference Cole Porter. In fact, point C is actually a famous song by Cole Porter, written in 1928, to which his friend Noel Coward added a bunch of stanzas in the 1950s. The song is entitled Let's Do It. The rendition of Let's Do It that you'll be hearing from a wonderful CD entitled Noel and Cole begins with Noel Coward's lyrics, segues to Cole Porter's original lyrics, and then returns to more lyrics by Noel Coward. If you're trying to identify which lyrics belong to which lyricist, this guideline may come in handy. Cole Porter's lyrics focus on human ethnic groups and on various non-human creatures, whereas Noel Coward's lyrics focus on human beings, particularly famous ones. Without further ado, performed by Ewan Morton, Philip Chaffin, Matthew Scott, Elizabeth Stanley, Sarah Jean Ford, and Barbara Walsh, Here is Let's Do It.
Mr. Irving Berlin often emphasizes sin in a charming way. Mr. Coward, we know, wrote a song or two to show sex is here to stay. Richard Rogers, it's true, took a more romantic view of the sly biological urge. But it really was Cole who contrived to make the whole thing merge. He said that Belgians and Greeks do it. Nice young men who sell antiques do it. Let's do it. Let's fall in love. Monkeys whenever you look, do it. Ali Khan and King Farouk, do it. Let's do it. Let's fall in love. Luella Parsons can't quite do it, for she's so highly strung. Marlena might do it, but she looks far too young. Each tiny clown you consume does it. Even Liberace, we assume, does it. Let's do it. Let's fall in love.
Romantic sponges, they say, do it. Oysters down in Oyster Bay, do it. Let's do it. Let's fall in love. Cold Cape Cod clams against their wish, do it. Even lazy jellyfish, do it. Let's do it. Let's fall in love. Electric eels, I might add, do it. Though it shocks them, I know. Why ask if shad do it? Waiter, bring me shad roe in shallow shoals. English souls do it. Goldfish in the privacy of bowls do it. Let's do it. Let's fall in love.
In Texas, some of the men do it. Others drill a hole and then do it. Let's do it. Let's fall in love. West Point cadets forming fours do it. People say all those gabors do it. Let's do it. Let's fall in love. My kith and kin more or less do it. Every uncle and aunt. But I confess to it, I've one cousin that can't. Teenagers squeezed into jeans do it. Probably will live to see machines do it. Let's do it. Let's fall in love.
The chimpanzees in the zoos do it. Some courageous kangaroos do it. Let's do it. Let's fall in love. I'm sure giraffes on the sly do it. Heavy hippopotami do it. Let's do it. Let's fall in love. The most refined ladybugs do it. When a gentleman calls, moths in your rugs do it. What's the use of mothballs? Penguins in flocks on the rocks do it. Even little cuckoos in their clocks do it. Let's do it. Let's fall in love. Old dragonflies in the reeds do it. Sentimental centipedes do it. Let's do it. Let's fall in love.
The Brontes felt that they must do it. Ernest Hemingway could just do it. Let's do it. Let's fall in love.
And that's why birds do it, bees do it, even educated fleas do it. Let's do it. Let's fall in love, love, love. In Spain, the best upper sets do it. Lithuania not to mention those crazy fins.
As the folks in Siam do it, think of Siamese twins.
Some Argentines without means to it. People say in Boston even means to it. Let's do it. Let's fall in love. Let's do it. Let's fall in love.
Although my next Waxing Lyrical About series hasn't been scheduled yet, this musical stream of consciousness today has made it easy for me to decide whose lyrics will be featured next time. Cole Porter's, of course. In the meantime, please join me next week for more breathtaking adventures in music. Signing off for now with a song in my heart.